Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, good time worshiping the Lord Jesus, and He spoke to your heart Sunday, and you worshiped Him, you honored Him. Today we are going to wrap up the book of 2 Corinthians. We're in chapter 13, which is a short chapter, but an interesting chapter. In a sense, it summarizes Paul's entire experience with the Corinthian church. You'll remember from previous weeks that they had questioned his apostleship for a lot of different reasons, questioned some of his activity and behavior. They saw him as less because he didn't extract money from them when other traveling apostles did, and even false apostles. And so they didn't hold him in the esteem that he was due as a true apostle who had been faithful, who had founded the church. They criticized him because when he was with them, he wasn't always forceful. You know, Paul was forceful in his letters, but makes it clear that when he was with them face to face, he was more gentle. And so they respected others who came on strong more than they did Paul. But in wrapping this letter up, he asserts some things to them. Now, you need to remember when you read 1 and 2 Corinthians, what becomes clear is Paul actually wrote 4 letters to this church. We don't have them. They're lost letters. Only 2 are canonical and in our Bible, 1 and 2 Corinthians. But when you read these letters, it's obvious that he wrote a letter before 1 Corinthians, and then another letter, a third letter, between 1 and 2 Corinthians. And it's also obvious that he visited Corinth at least 2 more times, other than when he was there for 18 months to found or plant this church, and he dealt with many of the issues they were struggling with in his letters, other issues he dealt with when he was with them face to face. And so he's getting ready to go visit them that second time, if you will. And so he says in verses 2 and 3, I have previously said when present the second time. Okay, so that would be his first visit after founding the church. And though now absent, I say in advance, because he's going to go back, to those who have sinned in the past and to all the rest as well, that if I come again, I will not spare anyone. Since you are seeking for proof of the Christ who speaks in me, you want evidence that Jesus is in me and I'm a true apostle, and you all tend to think that the proof of it is how forceful we are. Well, get ready. Who is not weak toward you, but mighty in you? Basically, he says, I'm going to come and I'm going to be strong and I'm going to be forceful. Down in verse 5, test yourselves before I get there to see if you are in the faith. Examine yourselves, or do you not recognize this about yourselves, that Jesus Christ is in you, unless indeed you fail the test. So when I come, I'm not sparing anyone. I'm going to put you all to the test. You better put yourself to the test before I get there. You want a strong apostle, strong leadership? It's coming. It's coming, Paul says. Put yourself to the test. See if Christ is really in you and you are really, really in Him. Test your salvation, your walk with Jesus, to see if it's real. Because if Jesus is really in you, it will always be visible, evident, in a properly examined life. And in this chapter, he talks about a few things. Test yourself. Those who are sinning, test yourself. In verse 7, are you doing wrong? Don't do any wrong. And in verse 9, that you are complete or mature. So Paul says, when you put yourself to the test to see if Jesus is really in you, some of what you're going to be looking for is there sin in your life? Are you living in sin? Are you doing wrong? And are you complete, mature? Are you growing? Are you growing, becoming more mature? Are you changing, more godly, more Christ-like? So you want it, I'm going to test you, but I advise you, he says, to test yourself before I ever get there. When I read all of that and thought about it and prayed about it, what I wrote in my journal was that God would help me to have an even greater desire to grow spiritually, become more mature, more Christ-like, to do what was right and to not sin, that he would increase my desire for all of that, and that he would use me in my family, in our church, in this city, in our denomination, to move others toward maturity. When I started preaching the sermon series, A Messed Up Church, on July 10 from 1st and 2nd Corinthians on Sundays, one of the things I said was that Paul did not give up on the Corinthians. He didn't tell them just hey, get out of here. He didn't turn his back on them. Paul stayed in there to help them grow. And that's what I want to do. Is I want to grow. I want to help you grow. And if I need to be mild and meek sometimes to do that, okay. And if I need to be blunt and forceful sometimes to do that, okay. Because my heart is to see you not only know Jesus, but grow in Jesus. Love you. God bless you. And I'll see you Tuesday.